What do you think is going to happen here in Austin?
Oh, I think it's going to be great. You're mainly performing in front of comics, but the comics are great because you can hit up 3 mics in a night, and you're lucky if you see anyone from the next mic you go to. The level of enthusiasm is easier to maintain. Comedians make me nervous. I respect so many people in Austin. I hate performing in front of them.
Really? What makes you nervous about comics? Don't you think they're wired the same as you?
Just like an added pressure. But if I can get one of them to tell me it was good, then I'm like, all right, it's good.
It is pretty crazy when someone you respect gives you a compliment. You're like, that feels good. Welcome, everyone, to the OG Pod. Today, I'm here with my friend from comedy, JT Stockman.
The one, the only.
The one, the only.
There's probably more. There's actually quite a few JTs, but...
Yeah? Do you want to be the only one? Or, like, I feel like if there's another Caleb in the room...
JTs out there. JT
we're going to have a conflict.
No.
Yeah, I want to be the only one.
Oh, shit. I'd like to be the only one. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to be that JT at least.
Yeah,
you know?
just one JT.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Well, dude, what's going on in your world?
Dude, nothing much, really. I mean, shoot, just got back from California.
Yeah.
I don't know. People ask me why I went out there. I just was like, I was in traffic, and I was like, I just felt like going. You know, it's kind of the dead season for work, and I was like, haven't seen LA or done LA yet. I've heard horror stories about it, but... You know, I went out there. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
You got to go to the Mecca of comedy, the Comedy Store.
I did. I went to that like the first week I was there. I went to it almost every day. I had to pay because they didn't know me as a comic there because there's like fucking 4,000. But
oh yeah, you got to go to the back area and just be like, I'm a comic.
Once I started to I hung out enough. People are actually real social there, and you know, people knew everyone else in the Comedy Store. So I got in on a few shows after that. But yeah, no. Other than that, I was fine with paying whoever to watch that night. It was fun. It got a lot of the anxiousness out of the way of or a lot of stuff out of the way for having to wait a big comic to come to Austin and watch them and pay like $130.
Who'd you see?
The first night I was there, I saw Ali Wong, Tom Papa, Anthony Jeselnik, Bobby Lee, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Any real comics? Oh, give me a real comic.
Damn.
I'll count Bobby Lee as real.
Hold on. What do you count as a real comic then?
I don't know. Bill Burr, Tim Dillon. I'm just kidding, guys. They're all great comics.
I saw Tim Dillon.
Ali Wong, I
actually liked her a lot.
She's a pregnant comedian, right?
Not anymore. She has like 2 kids now. Now she's like a divorced comedian.
Oh,
2
nice.
Kids. Yeah,
Welcome to the club.
Dude, indeed.
No, that's an amazing list of professionals to be able to see back to back.
And that's just like the first night. I was there like for a week after that. It'd probably be easier to name the people I didn't see, which were the big ones.
Well, let's keep naming names then.
No, fuck that. Let's move on to the next part of it. I don't know. No, is there any questions you had? Have you been to California? You've been.
Oh yeah, I used to live in LA.
You used to do tech, so yeah, you know that shit.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time at the Comedy Store. That's kind of what got me into comedy was the Comedy Store.
You just went there?
Well, I heard about it on Rogan's podcast while he was pumping it for a while, and I was like, let's see what this place is like.
Other people?
I mean, it was cool because it was before it was a scene, and so
before it was kind of what year was that?
It was before his spunk got all over it.
So before 2014?
I don't know. Yeah, like 20. No, I mean, maybe it was already a little bit of a scene, but it got crazy. Like in 2018, it was crazy.
And
this was like 2015.
Yeah, that was one of the things people brought up when they were like old comics who were there, or comics I met at other mics talking about the Rogan when he went back to the store and how it was just a switch around and pace and everything like that, which is why.
My favorite thing about that place is the characters it attracts. Like, there are some real psychos.
That's just comedy in general, though. That's not even those places. I've gone to Houston and watched people threaten each other on stage, like, just for no reason. Just comedians yelling at...
I don't know. There's something about... I think it's because it's LA, so it's already attracting all of, like... How would you describe the entertainment archetype?
Yeah, very sporadic. For the most part, very, there's a level of instability there.
Yeah, instability. They're all freaking schizophrenic, bipolar psychos.
I think everyone's
and they're dressing up in costumes, putting on characters. I used to love it. I used to go out with my buddies and be like, we got to wear costumes. Like, let's put on characters.
For the Comedy Store?
Just to go out. We used to hang out at this club. I think it's Hyde. It's pretty close to the Comedy Store.
I think I heard of it, yeah. I didn't fuck with a lot of clubs over there. Never went to. I'm not a club person in general, though.
I'm not either.
That's why I kind of like Austin, but I don't like when there's no one in the bar and they're blaring music for people to. Because I know they're supposed to draw people in, but it's like, have you ever just seen a annoying ass car drive by, like boom, boom? And
it's the same thing.
I don't want to be inside.
I'm very over clubs.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, but comedy clubs are cool. But yeah, like LA has just already all of these crazy people in it. And then you put like this super concentration on the Comedy Store, because there's, Laugh Factory you could walk to is like 5 minutes away.
That was, the crazy part, never went to it.
I tried once or twice, but
yeah, I was told, well, I was gonna initially, but then people are like, it's a hard place to hang out at.
it's not a hang.
Yeah.
Like Comedy Store is a freaking hang.
Like they got the porch, they have the
you
back
got the
way.
porch, you got where the comics hang out in the back, you got the kitchen,
You got
the
the
other
hallway.
area, the
It's
upstairs.
a very large place. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't know. I thought I was gonna be more like blown away by it for some reason. But
You weren't blown away?
I don't know, and that's why I was surprised with too. Like, I can't lie, I was gonna be like, I went there and it just.
Well, it depends on the night. Sometimes it's dead.
No, but I went there. I'm saying like the first night I was there, like that was my goal. I was like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna go to the Comedy Store. Why not?
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then I saw those people. It was great to see them, but I don't know. I thought I'd have more of a shift, but it didn't really. I mean, it didn't change up the pace of what I was going at anyway for comedy. So
what are you into comedy for? Why do you like it? What'd you start for? Why do you keep going and doing it?
Ooh.
I don't even do it anymore, so I like to ask other people that. Yeah.
Those are like 3 questions. Answered all of them. I don't know what else to do.
Really?
No, I mean, for the most part, I started comedy because just at really, like most, it's going to sound cliche, but yeah, after something bad happens, people get into like comedy and things like that. I got divorced and I was kind of just trying to figure out. I wasn't getting divorced. I knew I was about to. So I kind of was just like, fuck. Like, I'm really glad this is happening while I'm broke. Like, that was like the first thing. I was like, I should write that down. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I should just try comedy. That was it. Within the swing of a night.
Yeah, let's dump our trauma on a bunch of unsuspecting audience members.
I was like, yeah, well, not even trauma. It's like, let's distract from this and just go somewhere else. Let's just, this isn't pain enough until I got divorced. But I've also bombed in front of a lot of people before. Felt way fucking worse and was a fraction of the time.
That's like the best part of anyone should do comedy or whatever. You can do Toastmasters if you want, if you think that's fun.
What are they, Toastmasters?
Yeah, like it's some group of people that like want to give speeches to each other. It's pretty I mean, it's cool. It's cool. Whatever you want to do. But with comedy, man, it gets you comfortable just like being on stage, bombing and picking up the pieces and just trying to have fun with it.
Well, like shit, honestly, half the time it doesn't even make me comfortable. I'm going through anxiety and anxiousness before I go up.
I think everyone has a little bit of that.
I get,
but that becomes energy.
You were able to alter it. It depends. If you're at first, it turns into hiding it and just getting through your set. And if you're able to hide it well enough, then you can have confidence that you can just go up with that level. It does kind of like switch in the process of it. I'm finding out. I've only been in it like 3 years. You were doing comedy before this, weren't you?
I started just hanging out with comics in LA, and I was gonna try it, but then the pandemic happened, and then I gave it a shot at Wise Guys in Salt Lake City. Did that for a couple months, which was cool, very fun. And then I've always wanted to move to Austin for multiple reasons, but very much was interested in the comedy scene out here. But then I've kind of come to really enjoy Austin, even apart from it, just based off of the community.
It grows on you after a minute.
Yeah.
It's definitely, especially it did come in with a college town feel for it, but now it's kind of leveling off for a little bit more.
People say that. I've never seen a college student. Like, what's the college town?
I mean, compared to LA, you can kind of see the difference, though. It's not like a giant city like that. It's not like New York or Chicago or anywhere. It's a smaller section of it to where it is like one of those like Austin, West Virginia, Houston. Or Houston's not even a college town.
Like, what is a college town? Like Provo, Utah, that's a college town. Like, everyone is in college.
How long? I guess what defines a college town? How long? Because Longhorn football and everything like that was like the main thing down here for the longest time.
I thought it was like South. I mean, I knew it from South by my first time out here, 2012.
Yeah,
South
it could
by
be that too. I guess I haven't been really in the idea of. I mean, not the idea, but the background of what keeps drawing an income more so here. I just figured it was based on the college in that sense.
I think Austin has been like a huge music and tech scene for a long time, and now that we have comedy, it's gonna be bananas.
Not just that
bananas.
They have comedy, but like, it's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be a lot. It's more so a level of anxiousness on what's coming up because you hear about all the inside stuff going on in the scene.
I don't know any inside stuff.
Well, like the clubs popping up with
Rogan's
Rogan's
mothership.
And
that's
but
gonna be
also
cool.
Sunset is supposed to be coming in. There's another club I think called at an opening a place called Perla.
That'll be cool. I just want more hangs. I don't even care about the stage anymore. Like,
Well, and then Kingdom is also I stand door for them too. Like it's crazy because when you got here the same time everyone else did, right?
it was like August 2020, something like that, 2021.
Yeah, when
I
it was
guess.
like just developing, and then people were, you had like the main set of producers, and everyone just wanted to get better at comedy. But now it's like the second round is coming in for people to try and like start to,
capitalize
on the opportunity to grow, and then to also make money too. Like if it can become more
of an entertainment business.
for the most part, or entertainment area, but more like of a self-sustaining entertainment area. Like in LA and New York, it's entertainment.
Well, you have some magnetic people out here. You got Joe Rogan, you got Elon Musk. I'm blanking on names.
Well, I mean, just honestly, those names, like Elon Musk alone, he's bringing in a bunch of jobs and everything like that. He's bringing in people to the area.
He's got Tesla. I mean, I even think in Hawthorne you have his rocket factory. What do you think of this crazy shit Elon Musk is up to? What do you think of him as a person, of all of his businesses? Is he a good person? Is he a bad person? Tell us what you know.
I don't know if he's a good person, but I feel like he's not a bad person either.
Well, he's not a bad person. He's trying to do things.
I can't get a gauge on him. Whoever's talking about people the most,
He's one of a kind.
he is definitely one of a kind.
He might be the most productive man on the planet.
That's Asperger's.
That'll do that, yeah.
That'll get you going. That's a mental.
And Vyvanse, or whatever he takes his diet pills for.
Oh yeah, a bunch of different stuff. Certain minds just lined it up perfectly.
Fuck your diet pills. Run a mile.
Fuck that. Just drive a Tesla. He can take diet pills if he wants to. The man,
He can do whatever he wants.
He doesn't have time to fucking run a mile. He's trying to launch.
I'm pretty sure that if you can start 5 businesses, you can run a mile.
I'm sure if he had one of those, if he has a step counter on him, it's probably over like 10 miles in a day.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's pretty much on his feet most of the time. Can't imagine him to just sit in one place.
But like his power is obviously finding really competent people to work for him and to offload all, because there's no way to do all the businesses he's doing. The only way that he can be successful as he is by being the vision and the decision maker.
Well, and he has, I mean, shoot, he's the richest man now in like the past like 20 years he's come up, but he's also done that just by building up, I mean, yeah, like you said,
he did that by risking all of his fucking money and going all in on his own ideas time and time again, and finding ways to like pull himself out of bankruptcy and do all this crazy shit.
Not only that,
he's an inspiring figure, but he's also kind of a dick.
But he's also drawn up the law of attraction for the most part. Like people who are smart want to work for him.
Oh, no doubt. I want to work for him, and I don't like him.
Everyone wants to work for him. Somebody rebuilt a Tesla, and he hired him. Rebuilt it because I guess they were told they were unrebuildable. One dude spent like 70 or probably not that much. Found like a sunken Tesla and just got it running again.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. They don't have self-driving yet, but
fuck no. A lot of Teslas around here though. Just like, it's like in Cali,
I got a Tesla. It's pretty fun. It's a fun car. The self-driving doesn't work for shit.
Is it all the bells and whistles Tesla?
No.
Or is it like
yeah, I mean, it's maxed out for whatever it was, but...
Does Tesla even give the option to roll down windows? I doubt it. That would be like a real asshole Tesla.
No, it's cool. It's a cool car. It's fun to drive, but it doesn't work. The self-driving doesn't work.
I wouldn't trust that anyway. Fuck that. Especially around like a city, maybe on like an open, straight road. I've seen it, but...
It works for that, for highway.
Yeah, but I can't imagine with so much going on. There's too.
So what are the other draws to Austin? It's apparently a college town, and that's cool, I guess.
Well, I mean, if
weed's illegal. Oh my God, that's crazy.
You said weed's illegal?
Illegal in Austin. You can't just go buy weed. I don't trust any of the weed out here. It's all Delta 8 bullshit.
They're coffee. It's illegal, but they don't enforce it like that. It's bullshit still. But
it's because it's illegal in Texas. I don't think in Austin they care, but it's annoying that you can't just go and buy weed and see the THC content and like have it be packaged nice in an Apple Store experience.
Yeah, well, technically it was for like, dude, I keep losing my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool.
We were talking about weed being illegal.
Yeah, like Delta 8 is bullshit. What is the draws to Austin? Elon Musk, college
I was
town.
going to say, technically it's illegal almost everywhere, but it's about how it's enforced in most places. But yeah, now places are outwardly legalized with it, like California and stuff like that. I was sober when I went to California. 2 weeks in, I was like, ah.
Oh, do you believe in sobriety?
Like I was talking, like we were talking about earlier, like if you want to quit something and feel like you can't, then I think you have an addiction, so you should try and quit to at least to prove you can get over it. Even if it's like for 2 weeks, like
phone addiction, food addiction, any kind of addiction.
And then it depends how often you're doing it too. Like some people just do it in the evenings. Yeah.
The only way to be 300 pounds is to binge eat every night. It's the only way.
Fuck that, dude.
It's the only way. It's impossible otherwise.
I used to eat to go to sleep a lot.
Yeah, it does feel nice to go to sleep with a full belly.
But then you wake up and you feel like shit.
Oh, yeah. You don't sleep at all.
No, because it's terrible for you.
It's terrible. Mm-hmm. The best way to sleep is like not too hungry, not too full.
But what drew you into the art of comedy? What made you want to hang around comics?
I just started hanging around comics. And I mean, I was kind of always drawn to the entertainment industry. I think looking back, I think that was one of the reasons I fought hard to get into Snapchat was because I saw them as kind of like a cool tech company in LA, like kind of
did you get into
connected. 2015.
Oh, so like after they were starting to come up more.
Yeah, they started 2011.
And that's crazy because like...
But I was still super early, like, you know...
I didn't hear about it till 2013, so like after I went on leave from deployment and shit like that, they're like, oh, we got Snapchat. I'm like, what the fuck is Snapchat?
Yeah, everyone that I saw quit that company, I was like, idiot, you're never going to be as cool as you were here. And then I quit and I'm like, I kind of feel the same.
Joined with them,
yeah. But no, it was a freaking amazing experience and super grateful for all of the time there. And it's led by Evan Spiegel. He's an amazing CEO, very product minded. But he is
quit. Don't worry about riding their dick anymore.
No, I'll ride that all day long. I want him to be my boss. He's a cool guy. And so it has this connection to the entertainment industry. And I think that was part of what drew me to it. But I've always kind of, I think, had a draw in that direction. I've never really saw it as an option.
Okay.
And then I got lucky with like some crypto and Snapstock and all these other things.
Oh, you got it.
I got as lucky as I got unlucky in life.
Yes.
So the universe balances everything out. Anyway, it's fine. But so I had a little time on my hands and I was like, let me see if I can pursue this. And I probably shouldn't have left, but I did leave to pursue it.
Bro, like, hey, I mean, but
it's fine.
You wanted to do it.
I wanted to do it.
You knew it was a risk, right?
Not really.
Oh, okay,
I thought it was going to be easier than it was, but it's fine.
Shit, I left when I first started getting into comedy. I was in Florida. I kind of figured I knew I wasn't going to stay there, I guess, after a minute. After I started getting a little bit further into comedy, I was going to go to California. And I made plans for it on like December 2019. And then obviously COVID came and those plans went out the window. My buddy said, I'm starting a business in Houston. I was like, fuck. Thought I was going to be living in Houston and then go to California. But then the Rogan thing popped up. Right when I decided to go to Texas, that's when they started talking to me. I was like, shit. So it was starting to work out. But like I left a stable job as a supervisor in construction for like $1,500 a week, which in Florida is not bad. But
that's great.
Yeah, no, definitely took a shot in the dark here because I was also like $30,000 in debt too. So
I mean,
actually 42. My bad.
Well,
yeah.
but
I'm out now.
You'll be fine. Everyone figures it.
Dude, like I said, joining this business 180 to everything. Like we're starting this business, like cleared my debt and everything, helped me do comedy. That's why, like, right now I still have money saved.
What's your business?
It's just ACs and HVAC, just with mini split AC units.
Oh, cool. And that helped you get into comedy somehow, or?
It helped progress in comedy a little bit more because, for one, it helps me. I can go to California.
That's cool.
Oh, shoot. But I can go to California, go on trips for a minute, because... I mean, I sleep in my truck sometimes, but that's just part of it. I'm like, it's kind of an even trade because it gives me more. There's a level of freedom with a level of responsibility. And working for yourself is a fucking great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I don't really regret quitting. Like, my job is like, I really have been autonomous for years, and that is almost worth all the money in the world.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I think comedy is like the wet dream for working for yourself.
But I did kind of have a wet dream at Snap because I was working for myself for so long. It was never a job until like the last 6 months. I was literally working on my own accord for like years and building cool shit.
So, but what changed?
Just bosses and, like reorgs and all that bullshit.
But this is like, but then with comedy, like shit, sometimes you don't have to deal with anyone. You just have to maybe deal with the club owner, that if there was a difference between the two. But if you're like,
I'm like super into podcasting these days.
Yeah.
Like,
or I mean, like running a podcast too, doing all this stuff. Like,
this shit is fun.
It's interesting to see how the next bit is going to play out the next few years with all of this popping up.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen here in Austin?
Oh, I think it's going to be great.
It's going to keep popping.
I'm not going to lie, for a second, when I was in California, I was like, dude, I might move out here. Like, because it was cool. It was great. It was. The one thing I did like about it there was the amount of stage time was cool. You're mainly performing in front of comics, but the comics are great because, out there's so many. If you go to one mic, you can hit up 3 mics on a mic in a night, and you're lucky if you see anyone from the next mic you go to. You maybe see like one or two people, but you're retelling your jokes. So it's still, the level of enthusiasm is easier to maintain than just kind of like, here
do you feel like you get that in podcasting though? Like the hang is captured in podcasting, especially if you get like a couple guys here, like you're doing like a multicast or whatever.
Oh no, and that's great too, especially when it's a great conversation going on, or someone says like some off the cuff shit. That's really good. And that's the fun part about it. And especially with comedians too, because then you have people that are just
like the stage is kind of the work.
Oh yeah, and like comedians make me nervous for the most part.
Do they?
I'm not gonna lie. I respect so many people in Austin. I hate performing in front of them.
Really?
All the time. It doesn't matter. It could be a full room at Creek in the Cave, and if I like know people are in the back,
what makes you nervous about comics? Like, don't you feel like you can see their brain a little bit? Like, don't you think they're wired the same as you?
No, well but it's like it's just like an added pressure, because I was like, some of them I was like,
you want to do well.
I want to do well because I was like, that's a fucked up way of validation for it. I was like, but if I can get one of them to tell me it was good, then I'm like, all right, it's good. Like, and
it is pretty crazy when someone you respect gives you a compliment and you're like, that feels good.
And it's sometimes it's someone who doesn't even have to have like a huge name. It's just someone in the scene that's like, dude, you're like, you respect what they do, and you know that how much effort they put into their work, so that when you come back to it, or when you work on your stuff,
in anything that you're into in life,
it's a weird validation thing, but you kind of need it with comedy too.
But I think people need it in comedy because it's such like, you need to be encouraged a little bit, because it is such a fucking grind, and it can be discouraging. It can be discouraging.
Especially, and that's why you compare comics and audience people are two completely different people. Sometimes with the comic, you got to try and shut your brain off, and it's almost like when you see someone performing in front of an audience and you're like, damn, it could be someone that's like, damn, they're not doing well, but the audience is still enjoying it. You're like, the fucking
audiences are a million times more forgiving.
Well, they're just going in willing, not even forgiving. They're just going in to get hypnoptized. They can just,
they're just having fun.
Funny,
They're just going in. That's a good way to put it. To like let somebody else drive and just enjoy a drink, enjoy a night out.
You're just going there to be like, hey man, just be interesting, be funny, like say something to me. Let's
totally.
And it's cool. That is the one thing with audiences too. Some of them want to be talked with, and some of them just want to be talked to.
But then sometimes the thing I respect about comics and their stage presence is when you can feel that like they're just in a groove and they're doing something that they have done a million times, and they just like, this is what they do. And I've seen that at Creek many times actually.
Oh, constantly. That was the crazy thing about the stores. Like I went there on Christmas Eve with my buddy and his mom, because no one was really celebrating. I mean, they didn't really celebrate because he was like, he's 31 now, and his mom's older, obviously. But we just went to the store, and I was watching everyone go up, all these big hitters, and like for the first 2 minutes of their set, because it was late at night, I think it was like the 11 o'clock show, and I was getting tired. So like the first 2 minutes of everyone talking, I was like, all right, like obviously I'm going to zone out, but they knew how to bring you back. They kept you interested after that. It was really weird. Like it went from like dull to spiked within a matter of minutes.
Well, sometimes like somebody's like confusing or rambly or whatever. Like there's something incoherent about their stage performance and presence.
Yeah.
But then you get a pro and like the silence is interesting. Like the gaps between their topics.
Say that one hook, they know how to draw your attention in with that.
And how they engage with the audience, all that.
Yeah, no, it was great to see. It's inspiring to see, but it's also discouraging. That's another
Right? Yeah.
with like the
It's a
scene.
lot. They logged a lot of hours on stage.
Oh, so many, and you're like, fuck, that's like years of it.
Yeah, years.
And
That's why I think people do like measure comics in years, although it should really just be stage time. I feel like how much time have you logged on a stage in front of other people?
I don't know if you judge them in years, because if you're 10 years in and
you've never been on
it's like,
stage.
dude, you didn't say a joke at all. Like you didn't even try to be funny. You've been 10 years in. Then you see some, and that's where you're disappointed. Then you see 10 years where someone's funny. You're like, yeah, dude, I get that. They put in the work. And then you see someone who looks
And
like
then you see somebody who grinds all the time and it's like, they're still that funny.
Well, I mean, shit, I don't know if that's 100% true.
Really? I think I've seen some people out here where it's like, I see you're doing it a lot.
I mean, I'm not going to name names, but you're not far off with that. But at the same time, sometimes I don't know their process of work either. My thought is like, even if you're still working on the same joke, if you're still working on it, if you just done the same set all year and you didn't bother working on anything else, then it's like, yeah, you are where you are. But yeah, there's definitely a level of self-awareness that I think goes along with just being a person in general, not just a comedian. And the comedy scene, you really need it as a person that's helpful for the most part.
Yeah. Well, the comedy scene, you need it because you need other comics to give you a leg up. You're never going to get on a stage on your own. You need to be invited.
Well, not only that, you need the level of self-awareness just to, like, when you're in the middle of a performance and you're talking to people, you say something.
How is it? Yeah.
It's basically sharpening your self-awareness skills, because you're thinking, you say a word that normally it's a pop, and let's say you're in a room that doesn't do it. Then, lateral thinking onto another bit, onto something, other topic.
Or why didn't it? Like maybe it only popped because you were adding a gesture or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
even
you
not
said it
that,
too
but like,
fast,
yeah,
maybe.
that's a big part of everything is like
Timing.
timing
really,
is a big part,
like 90% of it.
but just like coherency and context. Like people can't laugh if they didn't understand your joke.
Well, and that's why, yeah, that's the level of socialness. Like if you're just reading to the audience, like people say you have to be in the act. Whereas like if you're just reading off your notes,
Yeah.
and you're just reading a manuscript, then you're like, well, fuck, this is boring. Like,
But if you improv and you just go up and you say your shit, then they say you're wasting everyone's time. That's what comics like to say.
I guess it depends, because there are some people who write like that, though.
Well, you're not allowed to do that in comedy. That's a waste of time. That's what I've been told many times.
To write on stage?
Yeah, that you have to have your shit prepared and rehearsed and blah,
I think
blah, blah.
it's good to go up with an idea or a premise and have some pinpoints you'd like to work on. Because all right, we'll go with my way, or I'll go with how my process of it is. Once I do write out a bit, and I will memorize it and work with it and see what works. If after a minute, I'll just memorize it to the T, even if there's some parts that don't work. And then normally I'll mix alcohol or drugs, and then go to an open mic and then see how it goes. Or even be at a show sometimes, and I've written tags and things like that off the cuff. But
I know what you're saying. Like if you have something that's too rehearsed, it comes out that way, like you're reading it. And what you really want to do is bring people into the feeling of the original idea. Like what made you think that to begin with?
Well, yeah, don't just read it to them. Just like talk to them. Tell them whatever. If it's a story, then you have to be in it for the most part, or at least.
Yeah.
And everyone has a different cadence and their different body language with it. That's the unique thing about it, is everyone can tell the same story, but sometimes you can get a great story 4 different ways from different styles.
Yeah. So what else are you into besides comedy? How else do you spend your time?
Bro, there's nothing else to be into anymore.
You don't think so?
I mean, I work out, but that's struggling. Ever since I started comedy, I used to be really healthy in South Florida.
Yeah.
But like, even there,
There's some fake comics out there.
Huh?
There's some fake comics out there. Tom Segura, you see his recent photos?
Oh, for real?
On Instagram? He's looking sharp.
He was on in Florida? Yeah,
I don't know.
Austin,
Florida?
Yeah.
I just saw he's a fit comic or
Yeah,
whatever.
there
Or
are
like getting more fit. I'm just saying, like, fitness and comedy, you'd think they don't go hand in hand, but like
it's starting to alter. Like things are starting to change over the course of these. Because they used to be like, handsome and comedy couldn't go together, and then it couldn't be. Fitness and comedy is starting to become a thing.
Well, you do want to not. I think comics get annoyed when you want to make it more about the material and less about the person.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely don't want to, or you don't want to try and
But I don't believe any of that. I think all that is bullshit. And the real thing is, show me something interesting. I just want to see interesting shit. I don't care what it's from.
Or give me like a believable problem with shit like that. Or, certain things,
Whatever, just like bring me into your world. That's what I want.
Yeah, no. And that's how it should be for the most part. I mean, you're talking about looks don't matter for the most part in comedy then.
Well, like they would say like, oh, dress down, like if you're built, hide your muscle, that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, whatever, man. Just like I do bring me into your world.
I do believe in some what you wear.
Well, yeah, like you don't want to be a douche and you don't want to like...
Not only that, depending, you do got to wear what works for you or what makes you look comfortable or not like too toolish or anything like that too.
People, but like if that's what you want to bring people into is like, hey, I'm the super tool or whatever. Yeah.
If you can sell, like people are going to look at you and be like, who the fuck is this tight shirt wearing big muscly having douchebag? And then, but if you can
like incorporate that into the act,
well, they're going to judge you off the looks right away.
I think I'm more into like one man shows,
like comedy.
Well, it is a one-man show, but like comedians are always like, the joke is all that matters. Being funny is the only thing. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. For me, it is. I just want something interesting.
And that's what all of that does matter to an extent. But it's all about just how you put it all together at once.
Exactly.
If you are just a monotone comic who can just solely do one-liners or act outs or anything and sell it.
We have somebody like Steve Martin. He's like very slapsticky. He's coming with a banjo.
Steve Martin.
Oh, really? I mean, he's kind of like, before your time or before my time or whatever.
He had one joke I remembered, but...
I don't remember any. I just remember his style. Like he's very slapsticky. And although he has been on some recent stuff, and I mean, he's definitely got a wit about him. And so what was I saying about him? Oh yeah, that's a totally different style, is like just slapsticky and like proppy, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing I like about it too. That's the people want variety like that. I think that's the
it's a variety
part about some of the comedies. You're trying to stand out. Oftentimes, if you are a funny looking person, you stand out in a certain way. Sometimes you can just get natural laughs and likability off that. But I feel like I'm a real generic comic, just a white dude comedian for the most part. I know this because people have told me that. They're like, dude, it's going to be more of a struggle for most white dudes because like people want variety now in it. And I understand that because, you want variety mainly. And when I say that with ethnicities, religions, what you look like, how you represent yourself. Like you can be I think people want something real and something interesting, something they haven't seen. Authenticity resonates with people, yes.
Yeah.
If you can sell it like that, and also it depends on the settings you're in, who you're performing with too. But I do think but that's to the people you're talking about. I'm talking about internally in the scene. If you're trying to climb ladders in certain clubs and things like that, even the military, I'll go to them. Like, I had to wait to join the military because there's certain quotas you have to meet. But in the course of comedy, you want to meet those quotas because you're trying to get different perspectives from all different aspects of life to present to the audience. Because then at the same time in the day, if you have 5 of the same comics, like literally all they do is one-liners all in a row, you don't think you'd get sick of that during any sort of show?
I mean, if they were great one-liners, I'd love it.
But then you're basically got 5 people competing with who did it the best after. If that would have to be one choreographed, like, all right, this person's the best. And
if people have great material, it's impossible to deny them. If they have great stage presence, if there's something unique or interesting.
But then I've even seen like great material. Like it depends on the energy in the room for the most part, I guess. But I've seen it where, if the first 3 people go up and then the following 2 have not done well because, again, these were like the same people. That's why sometimes even shows want to switch it up too with the mixture of everyone for the most part, I mean, it's a little different out here.
The energy of the room is set by the previous guy, and some guy can come up and it can be really a great room and he can nuke it, or he can just ride the wave or whatever. Yeah,
or normally sometimes you see in the middle of their set it kind of like fade. I've seen it where it fades out, like the first person did one-liners or stories. Stories I find always stay entertaining because you can't almost do that without theatrics for the most part. You can't, especially if you are a good storyteller. I think that can be back to back to back to back for the most of it.
If you have a good story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also I would rather hear like a one-liner, a storyteller, a crowd. If I like hosts who do crowd work and things like that. So apparently, larger comics don't like shit like that.
They don't like crowd work.
They don't like crowd work hosts.
Oh yeah, why is that?
This is what I've heard. In some cases, it can just be like, hey, just do your set. It can kind of few reasons. For one, they said it can draw the audience in, like to invite them into the show a little bit more. So if a headliner goes up, they're like, no, I'm just trying to do my material, like trying to get through it. Whereas others, and then it's different for almost everyone though.
Interaction.
Yeah.
Because that gives you something to play with. That gives you something to work with.
Well, not only that, I like a host that goes and like talks to the audience, because then it sometimes draws them in a little bit more.
If they're a good host.
Oh yeah. If they don't go awkward with or anything. I've had probably.
Well, I think that's what a good host does is they help bring the energy first of all.
Yeah, they set the tone.
Then they set the tone, and then they keep that energy and tone high.
But then I also can appreciate a host that's like, I've done some places where a host isn't even a comic. They just bring one person up after the next.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine too.
And it's like pretty much the openers, the host, and the starter and everything.
Yeah.
That's normally where stuff.
One of the two. Either do nothing or like make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah, going up first, though, can be, I think it's intimidating to a lot of people for the most part. Which it can be.
Pressure. So if you're going on stage and let's say it's a packed house at Creek in that room, what are you feeling?
Anxiety.
Are you?
Mostly anxiety. Like I said, almost anywhere other than like Fringe, it kind of like dulled because I was going up. But if I take too long between a show or a mic or anything, which given the show I got tomorrow, I normally don't hit mics in Austin on Thursday. But yeah, there might be some level of like just butterflies or anxiousness to where just depends. If I know I can get the first 2 minutes out fine, then the rest will be fine.
How would you know you'll be able to do it? I guess if you're practiced and you've done it a ton.
It's mainly just to start off, yeah. Like if I try to...
I think looking back at the few times I've been on stage, what was going through my mind is nothing. Just like feeling energy, feeling very almost meditative now that I'm thinking about it.
And sometimes it can, like when you catch yourselves in the moments of like making people laugh and things like that, to where you can take a second and notice it. And then you're thinking in your head about what you're
Do you ever like feel like, oh shit, they laughed? Like that made me lose my train of thought.
Oh yeah, it can be. Oh, like okay, that threw me off. Like
yeah.
Oh, when I told
you liked it? Huh.
At open mics in fucking Cali, I'd start off with like, yeah, I just came over here from Texas, and people applauded that. I was like, this is weird. I was like, for one, it's weird because you don't get the same greetings as in Texas as you do in Cali. But like, because I remember when I first came here, you might know Brian McDuffie.
Mm-mm.
He's a very funny dude, Austin comic, who runs a show in Round Rock called Rocky's Pianos.
Oh, cool.
Good dude to know. Yeah, him and Brandon Legendre. But I met him and Jason Rodriguez.
Yeah, I know Jason.
Yeah, their first nights over at Rocky J's Piano Bar when I was here. And I remember, I think it was Brian who started off with from California, and people booed it. I was like, damn. And then I was like, I'm from South Florida. And people were like, oh, okay, cool. Another red state.
Yeah.
Nah, but it was a good time, though. But yeah, it's just different on how people react in each area.
And all those reactions give you something to play with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It threw me off. I was like, fuck, I thought I was in San Diego for a minute or something. Then they laughed at that because apparently there is like some riff with San Diego and Austin, or San Diego and L.A. I don't know the riff or anything. I don't think there's any riff between any city.
There should be a riff in comics. I want a war between New York City, L.A., and Austin.
Exists. I think, but Austin wouldn't
we would
combine
win
forces with Chicago. No,
Chicago.
I don't think Austin would.
Does Chicago have comics?
Yeah, Chicago's. Normally it went like, if you were to base it off, it was like New York, LA, and then I thought Chicago was ranked up there as far as comedy goes. But now Austin and Texas in general is starting to take like the third.
Yeah, I think Austin is going to take third.
Oh, it has.
Move
It pretty much has already. The way it's popping up for just how it is now. Like,
anyone cool that you've heard of that's moving out or spending more time here? Just get a second home in Austin. Like if you're an established comic.
Not a lot of people. I tell people to come out here. I'm
There's
like,
so much land.
What's up?
There's so much land. There's so much space.
Yeah, and I'd like to buy a house out here, but like at Austin, but I can't. Not right now. Mainly, I just like to buy like a.
It's kind of a good time to buy a house, actually.
Apparently, yeah, prices are leveling off, but
well, you can negotiate quite a bit, and then you can refinance a couple years down the road.
It's a spot of that'll take up space in my head. It'll be too much. Like, bro. Whenever I get fixated on something, that's why I choose comedy. But like if ever I get fixated on something that can make me money or like I have to focus on, most things get washed away. I used to invest.
Oh, you're like singular focused in that way?
Pretty for the most part, like, or at least on one, if it's big. When I was, remember when the pandemic first hit and the stock market was popping up?
Yeah, it's crashing and then it's popping, but yeah.
Well, it was like roller coasters left and right. Like, it would go up and then false reports would come out to make it go up even further. But I was investing in that, and I lost like a month of worrying about comedy just watching my
the numbers are fun to watch. Turns out most of investing is set by the federal government.
Oh, it's all bullshit.
Is money coming into the system or is money going out of the system? If money is coming into the system, then high growth tech stocks are going to do well. And people are going to expand their businesses and hire a lot of people. Oh, yeah. If money is coming out of the system, the exact opposite is true. Interest rates go up. They do layoffs. We just saw Google fire 12,000 people. Crazy. But I think these tech companies are like, fuck the government. Like, if you're gonna make the interest rates high, we're gonna fire everyone. You want jobs? Bring back the party.
Yeah,
that's what I feel they're doing. I like it.
Yeah, you think recession's gonna come in?
No, I don't think so, because we have too much of an undertow. One of my big investing theses, which I still think is like true, even though the timing wasn't right at all, is that timing is everything. Is that there is an unbelievable growth rate and tailwind and disinflationary effect from technology and automation and robotics. Basically, look at what Elon Musk is doing. He's trying to build a robot that can do anything. Imagine if for $500 a month, every single person could get a robot that did everything. Go to the store, pick me up groceries, clean the house, do the laundry.
That is what they said was like, I remember someone had a conversation, I forgot their name, about this, like robot or technology is supposed to take the place of like work so that people can focus on more ingenuities or entertaining each other for the most part. Well, I think that's the weird thing about it.
Well, I think we're going to have a real problem in 10 years, maybe less even, or maybe a little more. I don't know.
Which part?
Just what is anyone going to do when robots do everything?
But certain things. So here's what I'm concerned with. And this is like it's an obesity topic, but that's part of it. But so I work in a blue collar trade with HVAC, and then like the most dwindling and the most in demand right now is like journeyman trades, electrician, HVAC, and plumbers. The average age of them right now are like 42 years old. That's the average age of a journeyman. That's fucking old to be an average.
It's a cool word, journeyman. I haven't ever heard
like
that.
a journey tradesman or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, you just do whatever.
What is a journeyman?
It's just like a tradesman. Like you just jack of all trades, or
cool.
More so you specialize on a certain.
But I got you. Electrician, plumber, carpenter, that kind of stuff.
Hands-on things like that.
That's cool work too, because it is hands-on.
And plus, it's such in demand. And robots, I don't believe could replace those right now, because that is a real touchy-feely job. You actually have to be able to. Some things
I think we're a long ways from that.
Oh yeah, and it's self-problem solving. It takes very unique people to work these jobs and be in charge of them.
Yeah. But again, like, what if like the most common problems were able to be, or even like here's one: you're building a new house, you got to wire it, or plumb it, or whatever you do. That's going to be way simpler than a repair job, right? Like you can almost program it.
What do you mean a repair job, though?
Like a repair job, you have to go in and do diagnostics, figure out what is the problem.
I'm saying for even installing, you'll run into problems where it's like there's an obstacle here that needs okay, we have to think back, because normally.
Well, I mean, I do think in the fullness of time, like whether it's 10 years or 100 or 1,000, we are going to keep developing these robots to the point where they become.
Oh yeah, or if anything, like I'm only doing these on pre-existing built homes and buildings. Like, I mean, there are homes now you can order that come in a flat sheet.
Those are
and
pretty
then
cool.
You can fold up into a house.
I want to get one of those, actually.
Yeah, it's fucking
That'd be
ridiculous.
Cool. The boxable homes? I think they got to be higher quality, actually, because if you do things in mass, this is what Elon Musk taught us, is the power of scale. If you do things in mass, they are not only higher quality and efficiency, but cheaper to produce. And so you can get a really high quality prefab home these days, I feel. And I would almost trust it more because it's like made with like steel and materials that are like highly tested.
But the main thing is like, well, that's I don't know what their HVAC setup is like in those homes.
I don't know
And
either.
I can't imagine.
I mean, that kind of stuff is probably a long ways from getting replaced by robots, but like driving, that could be 5 years.
Produce stuff like that.
I mean, it was supposed to already be here.
Yeah, but you're always supposed. If you can remove the need for an electrician, a plumber, or anything like that by having those tiny homes, you don't even need to worry about robots. If you can find a way to, you'll come at it at a different angle when it comes to building something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, the journeyman stuff, that's like a dwindling thing that's still in demand very much. Like a 5-year electrician can make just as much as a 5-year lawyer right now.
Really? A couple $100,000?
What's up?
Couple $100,000?
You can make 6 figures. Like if you're further down the road, because there's less than half of.
How much does a lawyer make?
It depends what kind of lawyer they are.
I think $250,000.
This was a lawyer from the UN talked to me about this because I was installing a job at his house up in. It doesn't matter, but yeah, he's like, oh yeah, no, jobs like these, like they're gonna keep being in demand. That's why I try to train in like some comedians and stuff because I'm like, I do pretty well for the most part, and I want to try and bring people in. Or normally I'll just buy everyone beer and food for them, but that's my contribution to the scene.
That's cool.
I don't have a lot to offer. I don't have a show, a podcast. I got a few ideas I'd like to execute.
It's cool to have something to offer though. To the scene, because it is a community of people and you want to be able to, like, that's something I hope in the fullness of time to be able to offer with this show is like, you're going to get clips, you're going to get credits, you're going to get blah.
But it's basically it's gonna be like anywhere else where it's unless you have something to offer. I don't think most people may not work with you unless you're downright like, dude, like this person has a God-given gift of a funny person or
or they have a name or something.
It's either you know the business real well, or you know how to bring in revenue, or you know how.
Have you ever heard this? Maybe I'm just making this up live. But all friendships are exploitation. Have you ever heard that idea or concept? Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of it.
You're just mutually exploiting each other to each other's benefit.
At some point, you will. Like at some point, you'll be like, oh, hey, yeah.
You could consider all relationships as a form of trade.
Yeah, and that's why they said it's all about who you know, the people you're friends with, and that's why you should hang around
the whole world.
People. That's what I kind of like about now is like that we got in here at the time we did, because like I was saying, knowing
it's going to grow.
Oh, it's kind of grown from like, if you look back 2021 when like people, a few people who are big producers now first started producing shows coming up slowly, and now they're up in the ranks. They're knowing people who are heavy hitters. They're putting on great shows, and more people are growing on that. Now there are more venues opening up for it, so it's opening up more opportunities for people to stand door, to get more stage time. I feel fortunate. I'm glad I did come out here and stay in that. I jumped on that wave. This was probably for everyone can agree with this, a long-term investment that people hopped on.
The Austin scene.
Oh yeah, and comedy in general is a long-term investment, but like
it is
how you're investing, how you're spending your time investing, and where you're going, shit like that, what you're doing with it, whether you're producing shows or just me, I just go to other places half the time.
But the coolest thing about this kind of work that makes me not miss my job in tech or whatever, all the things that I used to occupy myself with is, I mean, this kind of stuff I could do for 30 hours a day, 50 hours a day. Like as many hours I could be energized for.
Running podcast.
Dude, I would. If I had my way, I would be recording every fucking day.
No, I'm saying just like pop a couple Adderall and then legit.
I mean, that's
2 days
no problem for me.
Just
popping a couple Adderall is a Monday.
Be like, hey, I'm trying to work on the record. I don't know what the record is for the longest podcast, but just cycling, because you could line up 1 hour with every comic in Austin and fill up like 200 hours.
One time I was on this flight to Japan, and the stewardess, it was like a 10-hour flight, 12-hour flight or whatever. And at the end of the flight, she was like, I'm not judging. There's nothing wrong with this. I just want to note that I've never seen somebody speak for 12 consecutive hours. I've just never seen it. I'm not even saying it's bad. I've just never seen it.
Who was that?
I mean, I was just cycling between people like, this guy got bored of me, that guy got bored of me, talk to the guy there, talk to the guy there.
Oh, you just talked to everyone.
I was just talking to everyone.
Good. It's good to have that social skill with it. Like, it's...
I don't know. I just like to talk.
Especially in the comedy scene, too. Well, in any way of business, like, you either have to be really great to where people want to come and talk to you, or you just have to go out and socialize for the most part.
But yeah, like, this shit is the most fun.
Oh, it's great because you get to do it. You're doing it because you want to do it. Not because some people do it because they're like, oh, everyone else is doing it, so I have to.
Some people do it because they want to be famous.
Yeah, well, they feel they have to do it, and then it's no fun after a minute.
What do you mean they have to?
Well, like, because they want to be famous. Like, they feel they have to do it. Like, I think it kind of takes away, because some people say you should start a podcast.
You should start a podcast. I think it's a new social media.
It's turning into it more so. It's becoming more social with it. I don't know. It's getting more personal.
It's like back in the day when like some people had an Instagram, some people didn't. And now it's like, no, my mom has an Instagram.
Well, everything went from like, what was it? Oh, you think back from like Facebook and Friendster and all that shit.
Exactly.
Where it's just, you just pop in a thought, almost like Twitter, but now it went from thoughts to pictures, from pictures to videos.
Yeah.
From 30 seconds to a minute to an hour. Now you can.
I think there's a tremendous value in being able to record and share these discussions, because that is like its own kind of revolution of knowledge. All of like, what is the marketplace of ideas? That's everything everyone is discussing all the time, right? And that marketplace is always changing in variety and expanding, and
you're just trying to either catch it or get ahead of it, but you got to be in it for the most part to really like adapt with it, or at least to tell where it's the rhythm of it, where the algorithm of where it's going to go next. You know, and that's how I think how you can get famous for the most part. But
is fame good?
Guess it depends what kind of fame you're looking for. And
yeah, you want fame that you can capitalize on. What if just everyone knew who you were and fucked with you for it? That'd be bad fame.
Oh yeah,
I think they call that infamy.
Yeah, that would be terrible. I wouldn't know. Yeah, fame. I don't know. I guess it depends. Fame can be good, but I guess it depends how you're making your money.
Yeah, like
you can be if you're famous and working for yourself, then you're good. But if you're
okay, would you rather have $100 million and nobody will ever know your name, or $1 million and you're super famous,
or 5 million?
No, 1 million.
I mean, because then I could go down,
and you can't make more. Oh, okay. You can't leverage your fame. You just have to live off of whatever, like $100,000 a year, whatever that gives you.
Damn, I'd probably just settle for the 100 million. I could do more with it. Well, no,
but yeah, nobody's ever going to know who you are. Then
I could never do comedy again. I would talk. Me and Jimmy and Leo had a talk about this, like, but nah, I guess I'd settle for the million in fame.
Million in fame. Yeah, you'd figure out some way to leverage it.
Like, you can't make any more money. So you're saying you die broke, pretty much, or you die
not broke? You just have a modest income, but everyone celebrates like you or whatever.
$30,000 a year, and
yeah, how much do you need to be happy? Do you think?
Oh, to be, I mean, well,
don't you think it changes? However much you have is more. The right answer is more.
Always more.
Yeah.
For the most, yeah.
Whatever you have, you want more.
Depending how you manage it.
Even if you mismanage it, you still want more than you had when you had more, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And you can be happy and poor and happy and rich in both cases. But
I don't know if there's many people out there that are just monks that are just like, I'm going to take my stipend and never try to grow it or make anything more of it. You know, maybe there are, but
I think that depends. Well, I mean, if you're talking about monks, if you're talking about the area they live in, I mean, we're in the most wanting country in the world.
Consumeristic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Materialistic consumers.
Largest
that's what we are.
Of all.
I want a new phone every year. I want whatever they got.
Pay $12,000, so get it from China.
Yep. Let's exploit some kids.
No, and that's
just don't think about it. If you don't think about it, it doesn't matter.
It's a good point. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. We all know there's starving kids in the world, but they're not here. So what does it matter?
I can't see them.
Yeah, I can't see them.
Out of sight, out of mind.
What's the difference between a starving child and one you can't see? Nothing. Might as well not exist.
I don't feel bad when I can't know.
Well, that's how people act. We're much more concerned about like what pronouns to use than the fact that there's literally people with filthy water. Those are the world's elites.
The two things people care about. I thought of this the other day. The two things we care about most in this country are food and feelings.
Food and feelings.
That's the main two. Sort of like if you have feelings, eat them with bury them with food. If you don't have any food, fuck your feelings.
What do you think about all the obesity in America?
That's what I was talking about earlier with the Journeymen stuff too. What I want to go back to. It's a massive problem.
Yeah,
like it's people 18 to like 24, 25, young adults. 74% aren't physically fit to join the military in any branch, and there's some low standards now.
So what were your qualifications? You said you got blocked a little bit from entering the Navy.
No. No. Well, No, because there are quotas you have to fill. Like,
Yeah, what is that?
quotas is like almost like what businesses do. Diversity in the workplace.
I see, gotcha.
And so a lot of like recruiters are
So
like,
just like white,
they're
whatever.
like, you don't happen to be half black, do you? I'm like, can you question it? They're like, no. I was like, then sure. But other than that, yeah, if you're Native American, African American, they want diversity in the place.
Why does diversity matter in the military?
It depends what time of year it is. Now the military is hurting for people because there's not enough people joining the military now because obesity. A lot of people, like I said, a lot of people aren't physically fit to join it.
That's hilarious.
Or a lot of people
They're too fat to run.
Well, and then
I used to be fat so I can sit.
I was a chubby kid too, dude. I passed out from standing up too fast once. It was bad. I was supposed to be. Had I not changed when I was like 13 to 15, had I not just cut sugar out, I would have been like an early diabetic. That's what they told me anyway.
That's a good time to change. I waited too long.
Well, like I sat in a chair, after I passed off from standing up because someone asked me a question. I stood up. They asked me a question. I was like, yeah, and then I would just remember blacking
Do you really
out.
think it was from being overweight?
No, they told me it because I went to a doctor. They're like, sit down in this chair, and then they put a stethoscope to my heart. They're like, stand up. So I stood up. They're like, sit down.
Is it like a blood
Stand
pressure,
up.
or
Well, and then
what
they looked
causes
at they looked at my mom. They're like, his heart should not be beating that fast just to stand up out of a chair, because that's mainly where like lightheadedness comes from. Like, the blood rushes to your head.
Yeah, I used to have that going upstairs when I was overweight.
Sometimes I would have it just from like, you're so relaxed, you stand up and like you're lightheaded.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
So that's basically what happened. But but I wasn't obese enough. I was like a skinny fat kid. I was just really unhealthy. And I was really weak, still kind of am, but yeah, it happens. But for the military and even everything like that, like 42%, 74% of people 18 to 24 aren't physically fit to join the military.
That's great. With 70?
74%.
That's crazy. 3 out of 4 people.
And that's only 1% of the U.S. serves the military.
Well,
The military is like the comedy scene and the amount of people it has right now.
really?
The U.S., yeah.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say the comedy scene is like the military of entertainment.
Oh, the deeper you go into it, the longer you stay in. Like people, because like on a ship too, How
long were you in the Navy?
Just 4 years.
Okay.
But I was dealing with people who were 8-10 years in, and like 2 people would show up from separate ships and be like, "Oh, you know this person? Like, oh yeah, they're this now," and they get to talking. It's kind of like how the scene goes here. Like when I went over to Cali, I had a few buddies over there. Ben Smith.
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he was an Austin dude from Boston, but was an Austin dude for a while. Then moved to Cali like 10 months ago. But I hung out with him, another dude, Michael Schertzer, who's a funny guy from LA. But even then, I would just go to other scenes and like talk to people because LA and Austin, people are always coming back and forth. Like LA comics come here, Austin comics go there. Everyone's talking, and as soon as I say I'm from Austin, they're like, "Oh, do you?" And it's such a small scene here. When you know someone who asks you, "Do you know this person?" You're like, "Yeah," and then it's kind of like it helps lube up the conversation. It's a good segue, or it's anything like that.
But yeah, we were talking about the military and just like 75, 3 out of 4 people don't qualify. 74%. So what are the standards? What do you have to be able to do?
It's a certain height to body fat percentage ratio.
BMI.
So if you have, So if you're...
But those are inaccurate measures to begin with, right?
Well, it depends, like your standards. Like there are some people, dude, who are like, "I'm surprised you're here. You are fucking fat."
Well,
Not
but like if you're like a built dude who's shorter, like your BMI is going to be...
Well, that's
higher.
why they do take like the little
calipers.
Yeah, they take the calipers. They test and everything. Like if you're,
that's what it should be, is body fat.
There are a shit ton of people there who are like buds who like got hurt during training and wanted to still stay in, so they settled for an enlisted thing from like buds as Navy SEALs. So they're like built up, and a lot of them are short dudes that are like 250 pounds, and they'll just measure them and be like, "Oh yeah, you're like 5% body fat. You're good."
Yeah, it should be based off body fat. But anyway, right now it's BMI.
Height to ratio. So if you're like 6'1" and 250 pounds, but you're like got a gut, which some people do. Yeah. But so that's part of the requirements. Then, so the 24% of people that meet the physical requirements can't get through the physical assessments of it. Like,
and what are those?
A minute of push-ups, sit-ups, and running.
A minute? Well, what
each of them?
But like, what is a minute? Like, how many what if you do one every 10 seconds?
You just have
anyone
to do
can
it
do
for
that.
a minute.
Well, anyone could do that. Like, can't you just
it
do like
changed when I
one
was
every
in
10
there.
seconds or
It's
whatever?
based on age. So like 18 to 24 was like, I think you had to meet 50 to 60 push-ups in a minute.
That's a little harder.
Oh no, shit! I did 100 push-ups in a minute before. No, that was 2 minutes.
In a minute, yeah, I don't know, like probably 50's kind of rough.
And then you had to run like a mile and a quarter in under 10 and a half minutes, a mile and a half in under 10 and a half minutes. Shit. For my final test.
But why are they even really? What was your final?
Oh, I was like, because like, so we have to, when we were running for our final assessments, this was like to graduate. For some reason, I just had like the bubble guts right.
Oh,
when I
literally
started.
shit your pants. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was like struggling trying to run, holding a shit in.
Yeah.
As soon as I passed the finish line, like you have to make 15 laps around this small thing, and I'm like just pacing. I could have done the whole thing.
Dude, that happens to me every run. Is like 5 minutes in is like we're ready to go.
That's why I'm normally trying to have coffee and wait like 10 minutes because I'm like, it's going to happen. And when it does, I'm going to feel great and it's going to be like an energy burst because I'm lighter.
It's nice when you can get, when you can eliminate before a run.
Well, it just feels better. I've taken a shit.
This is what we talk about on this show,
person.
taking shits before runs. This is what I love to do with my time.
That's what we as Americans, here's the thing. You know why we shit? Because we eat a lot. Because we're heavy motherfuckers, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's fun to eat. It's a good pastime and it's comforting.
Do Africans talking about taking a shit? I don't think so. If they do, they're like, bro, crazy.
What are your indulgences? What are your comfort foods?
Pho or sushi. A lot of Asian shit.
Wait, what's pho?
Pho? You've had pho? It's very famous.
Somebody was just telling me about pho. Yeah. Pho.
Some people here's the thing. I called it pho too, and then some asshole kept correcting me.
It's like, is it hero? No, it's gyro.
Yeah, euro, gyro.
Yeah, euro. Yeah, I think it's euro.
But yeah, no, pho's just like rice noodles and chicken broth with any choice of like sliced beef or chicken or anything.
Oh, really?
It's awesome.
Oh,
dude, it's like the number one food to get on like a cold day, a rainy day.
What about just like chips and salsa?
Ugh,
no chips and salsa. Like nachos, no nachos. Dude, snacks are the best. I love snacks.
Cheese that much.
Cheese.
With most cheese.
Cheese is the best.
Bro, I had to cut out a lot. I'm from Minnesota. I had to cut a lot of dairy.
That's where all the cheese comes from.
That's Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, Wisconsin. Actually,
I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant because, yeah, I'm from the Midwest. A lot of diets are like heavy dairy diets.
Totally, meat, potato.
It's all Scandinavian shit, and you eat stuff that's applicable to wintertime, which is what they do up there.
Is that Scandinavian? Actually, it would make sense that it would be more northern diets.
It's the most. Yeah, Scandinavians eat or some of them eat the highest calorie diets because you actually burn more in the cold than you do in the hot heat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because your body's fighting to stay warm the whole time as well.
Totally.
And half the time you're wrapping your shit up in like heavy clothing. You're moving a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. There's a reason why outdoors.
Dude, cheese is so freaking good. Chips and cheese. Oh, that's so good.
It would.
Okay, let's talk about desserts. What desserts would you eat?
I'm all about gelato. And
gelato's pretty good. Oh, dude, I love gelato.
It's my one. Like ice cream is my one go-to.
You can make ice cream at home super simple. Just whip up heavy cream, add a little powdered milk or condensed milk. You could do whole milk.
And it's odd. I've made my own ice cream and I've made my own food before, and it doesn't taste good.
Really? Oh, it's so freaking good.
Some places, some things I make are good or have been good. I used to be a bomb-ass cook like 2 years ago, but now I've been sleeping in a truck, so my cooking skills have dwindled.
Well, apparently, the biggest problem I found with homemade ice cream is the ice crystals. This is what I want to figure out is how do you reduce the ice crystals. But apparently, if you cook it a little bit and then let it rust in the fridge overnight and then freeze it, that reduces the ice crystals. And also you have to use a cold churn to make it.
Yeah.
Like you can't just freeze it. You have to actually churn it cold.
You have to keep spinning it that way because then it slowly like mixes in the ice crystals more, so it breaks them down a lot better.
Exactly.
Shit, but yeah, see, we can talk about shit like this.
Dude, gelato's freaking good. But yeah, you can make some gelato at home for sure.
I'm good with the shit I buy in the store. I got my own brands.
Really? It's kind of fun to like customize it though to like exactly what you want. I want this much chocolate. I want this much sweet. I want that kind of stuff.
I've done ice cream out of honey and shit like that where it's the sweetener. But it's all right.
What other desserts? Cookies or cake?
Cake. Probably. Guess it depends how good the cookies are. I don't know. I like sweets. I'm starting to become a fat kid again.
Yeah, let's get to fat. Let's become fat kids.
I was done being a fat kid.
What's the best cookie? Chocolate chip or white macadamia nut?
Ooh. Probably mixture of both.
Yeah, you want half and half.
Chocolate chip macadamia nut.
You ever get into the point of binge eating where you got sweet, savory, bubbly drink, and you're just alternating between? So you eat the sweet until you get maxed out on sweet, and then you wash it down with a bubbly, and then you go to the savory, and that triggers the sweet, and you just alternate, and then maybe you're smoking a little bit. Fucking great.
I don't think I've done that. I've done it to where it's been like,
oh, so good.
Sweets last, but I've like literally just like I'll eat a pint after like if I'm like on a cheat day or something. I'll start with
my buddy and I
mainly. That's my cheat meals almost every day.
My buddy and I had this tradition of going and we would do this business travel. And at this hotel we'd always stay at, we got like access to the lounge where they had all these cookies and candies and cakes and just everything. Yeah. And we would raid that place. And the staff hated us because like they'd get one cookie. That's like what normal people, we'd get like 8 cookies.
Just load it up.
Load up 3 plates. Oh my God, it was so freaking
where
good.
Was it at?
That was at the Marina Del Rey Marriott in Marina Del Rey.
When I used to, on my Navy ship, I had access to the freezer. So every night, if we came back on deployment, if we came back from port and we were fucked up, I would run down there and grab a box of ice cream sandwiches and bring them up.
Yes.
Everyone would just eat.
Dude, ice cream sandwiches, underrated.
I would bust back in the kitchen of the galley and just help myself to food. I'd be like, I got to check.
How many could you eat at once if you were hungry? Just a grocery store, gas station, whatever, like standard ice cream sandwich, not anything gourmet.
5.
4 or 5, okay.
I probably actually,
lightweight.
One sitting, I've eaten 7.
I could easily eat a box. How many come in a box?
6.
Oh, is that
I've eaten one in I've eaten a whole box.
Yeah, I could eat a whole box.
With me and food, I'm like a dog with that shit to where I don't stop until it's gone.
You fill the bag and then the pipe.
If I buy a bag of potato chips, it's going to be gone within... it's going to be gone by the end of the day. I may get full and I'll get tired, but I'll get hungry again and I'll eat it, which is bad. But yeah, I just have to get rid of it. But then I won't.
What do you think of these mukbang videos?
Who?
Have you seen like Nikki Avocado on YouTube?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, he's like this guy. He was like a vegan YouTuber, and he started making these videos where he would just gorge himself eating. And then he's like now like been doing that for years. He's like gained like 300 pounds. He's at the edge of death basically. And all the comments on his YouTube are like, I watched this guy to feel better about myself.
Who cries when he eats?
Kinda. He does weird shit like that.
Kind of like a skinny. I think I know.
He's not skinny. He's not skinny.
He's not skinny anymore. No, but it was like black hair, short hair normally.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember there used to be a video of one dude who was on Tosh.0. He would just cry and fucking eat a lot.
Yeah.
And just cry while eating.
We have such a weird relationship with food because the human animal has been starving for all of time in history until like a couple of years ago.
Until it became convenient.
That's
basically
it. But when was that? Like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, something like that.
It started
maybe 100.
It was a progression. Like it started to become convenient. Like it's weird how I think all this shit formed, but like it started to become convenient when like I guess more of a structure was coming into fucking
like society. Factory farming, whenever that was. But for all of time in history,
when you could
scrounging.
Well, I think when more like trading came up, when you could, because like we'd butcher cows and we would trade like half the cow to have them butchered, and then they would sell them to the meat market, and people could just pick up.
I think honestly it's more recent. I think it's since we got like food preservatives, like canned foods, that kind of stuff.
In the 60s.
Yeah, something like that.
50s, 60s, even in like the 40s and stuff.
Because people were pretty fit in like the 20s and like all before.
Found out when you could store food,
boom,
is when it became convenient.
Totally.
And then now it's just progressed to where it's like, oh, you only need to like most.
Guess what? It's way cheaper to buy preserved food than it is fresh food.
Sometimes it's starting to get to the point where it's cheaper to buy a meal from a restaurant than it is from the fucking storehouse.
It totally is. Yeah, like
it's kind of
a thing of ribs is like $20 at the store. It's like $15 at a steakhouse.
Yeah. Or it's like fucking they have a special going on. It's like, yeah, I was only going to eat that amount of ribs anyway. I don't need a whole rack. But
yeah. So what should Americans do with all their fatness?
Definitely do something. Eat healthy, but then again, it's not what Americans need to do with their fatness. It's what society needs to do to make being healthy more accessible.
Should we just accept them? Like,
I'll accept them, but I'm still going to talk. What do you mean accept? Like, I'll
just be like, hey, if you want to be fat, it's fine. Yeah. Who cares? Just go be fat.
Oh, I got fat friends, but don't.
Yeah,
half of them, I'm like, don't expect me not to talk shit if I want to, or if we talk shit. If you're a nice fat person, this sounds bad. This sounds like shit.
Yeah, what is it?
No, if you're a cool person, or if you're like a person.
Like if you're comfortable being fat and that's your identity, that's great.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
Like, I think there's people that are just like, I'm a fat guy. This is who I am. And I love it. And it's amazing.
If you feel comfortable talking shit to me, then feel comfortable if I say shit back to you.
Totally.
With all that stuff. And that's
Totally.
the good thing about comedy, too, though. Is like,
well, comics, you can say anything
it.
too.
You love yourself. Yeah, but I'm not going to talk to the guy in the audience and make fun of him.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Nutty professor, that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mock the audience, but comics, free game.
Yes.
They'll mock themselves.
No, dude, but yeah, that's
a crazy stat that most people wouldn't be able to qualify for basic military service.
It's not a crazy one. It's a concerning one. Like
that is a concerning one.
There was a TED talk from a staff sergeant in the Air Force like 10 years ago who said by 2030 that these numbers would be when they would be hit, and they actually hit like last year or 2 years ago. Is when those percentages were supposed to match up was by 2030.
Wow.
Because now that's it, but now 42% of adults, so 25 and above, are obese.
I think we just build a pill that people take and it nukes anything they eat, turns their stomach into a furnace. They can just gorge themselves. Like, what was that, Hunger Games? You ever see that where people would like drink that thing and make them throw up? Just everyone binge eat. It's not that hard, Get a couple fingers back there, eat as much as you want.
I've made myself throw up during eating sushi before.
Yeah?
I've had to, but
it doesn't feel better, I feel.
It doesn't make you feel better making yourself throw up.
Yeah.
People would have challenges when we were in the military of like go to IHOP and they had the bottomless pancakes.
It's nice to be full. Yeah, bottomless pancakes.
It's nice. I feel actually gross when I'm full.
Really? Oh, terrible. I love that feeling.
I'm starting to get to the addiction of not eating that much, which is not great.
Well, that's great for longevity.
It is. I mean, to an extent, but like now these last few days when you don't eat much and you don't plan it out, you slowly survive off HEB. And then they're closed and you're like, oh, well, it looks like I'm not eating today.
Yeah.
And I have the option to, but I might have to drive like 3 hours.
Is HEB closed from the storm?
No, a lot of places were the past few days. It wasn't yesterday or the day before. I think it was the first day initially. A lot of places shut down earlier just because, like, it's bad. I don't know if you've driven around and all that, but
yeah, I did a little bit.
Like trees are all over the fucking place. But
yeah, for people that don't know, Austin has had a winter storm and it came out of nowhere.
It was freezing rain and it actually posed more of a challenge than people thought. I thought it was just going to be icy roads, but it piled up on the trees and
yeah, it took down power lines, all that stuff.
Oh, I'm still without power. Yeah, still without it.
Well, what are we going to do with these fat Americans? Just let them be fat. It's fine. Nobody cares.
No, let them be. I'm fine with it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Go for it. Be fat if you want to. I don't feel good when I'm fat. I know I don't because I've been fat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for me, but I do like to eat, and one day I'll do a mukbang.
And it depends what kind of fat you're talking about because, like, Midwestern fat is basically like you have a gut, but you can still, those are blue collar workers. Like, they're people, like, you have a gut, but I'll pick up.
Yeah, they're still strong.
You have backwoods farmer strength and shit like that. And, like, you can still get up and move. Like, you're out of shape, but you're functional.
Everyone wants to be Thor, though. Everyone wants to be shredded,
and that's a
built.
Good goal to have, though, half the time. Like,
it's not really achievable without a shitload of PEDs.
Oh, yeah, no, you need to take some extras. Isn't that crazy when you found out, like, some of your heroes are like, oh, yeah, no, they take some additional shit now. Like,
not that surprising. Nobody else looks like that. What are they, like some special human that is different from everyone? No, we're all just animals.
But you hit that revelation. Did you ever hit that revelation with some people? It's like, oh, dude, he's a fucking phony. Or he's not a phony, but, like, they take extras. They have the...
I just know like that we're all just an animal. What is going to be different from one animal to the next?
Some people just have different, but
there are some genetic variations.
Yeah. Some people are just naturally strong in life. You know,
a little bit.
Oh, dude, no. Some people are fucking freaks. I knew a kid who could just pick up 225 who never stepped foot in a gym before.
You're telling me that guy doesn't want to go enhance himself somehow?
No, some people just don't care.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe there are some like real genetic outliers. I think that most people are generally the same, and that if you're getting like crazy outsized physiques, then yeah, you're probably taking some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with going like the...
Take a little test. I'll jam that, bull semen into your ass or whatever.
Fuck that noise. I don't understand how people can do any of that shit though.
Really? I would do it. I'd take test. Right now I'm just enjoying Adderall.
Oh, Adderall's a test?
No, just like a PD, an exogenous chemical to enhance your performance past what it would biologically be capable of. Oh, yeah, I love Adderall.
For working out?
It is a general drug, I guess.
I used to take it as a pre-workout. It was great. It was also very dangerous.
I've taken it more like anyway for all sorts of reasons, but yeah.
Oh no, I used to just take because I was never prescribed it. I bought it from a friend in Florida, and he bought it from a cash.
That's risky. You want to get it from a trusted source.
No. He had a prescription for it. I just bought it from him.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, it was 30 milligrams too, and I would just take them right off the bat. After work, I would pop one and be in the gym for like 2-3 hours, just doing.
I've never found that it helps with strength. I've found that it helps with cardio.
It helps,
but not with strength.
You don't want to lift on it for sure because for one, it kills your appetite, so you're not.
I've never found that either. Like people say that, and I'm like, go take it for a month and tell me how hungry you are.
I think it depends. I know that if you do take it on an empty stomach, it does kill your appetite. I can eat on
really?
One,
yeah, I've never had that.
That'd
be great.
Yeah, I can go for a minute without it. It does make me piss a lot too, though.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, no.
But yeah, I do all sorts of designer drugs. Like get whatever I'm low on. Am I low on test? Jam it in. Am I low on estrogen? Jam it in. Whatever. Like do all the blood work.
Designer drug?
I don't know. Just like whatever. Like the perfect chemical juices to best optimize performance would be. I have zero problem with exogenous help.
Okay. Yeah, no.
I think that's the future. I think the future is people enhancing themselves through things like Neuralink, things like
that's gonna be
chemicals.
It will, because even back then it wasn't the natural chemicals. People were taking steroids and just eating unhealthy. Now people are combining steroids with healthy lifestyle. So there's gonna be different polls.
Double, yeah.
And now people are taking PEDs, test boosters. The science is getting more exact on what you're deficient in, what you need. You can talk to professionals for it and all that shit. Like. Yeah, but as far as
using exogenous chemicals to enhance your performance, no problem with me.
Yeah, I would be if I ever did steroids, I would just be quietly about it. I would just take them and I'd just gradually get bigger. And
what is the stigma though? Why is it why do people feel? You want to know why? It's because people like to discredit your work. They like to say he only lost weight or he only did this because of that. And it's like, well, if it was that easy, go fucking do it.
No, it depends. It depends what kind of work you're doing.
Go take a TRT and try to be Joe Rogan.
Well, no, if you're taking it for if I mean a lot of those bodybuilders definitely take it, and those
they do, but none of them are it's not like it changes everything,
Yeah, but some people are like those what are they? Swimsuit competition people? Like the ones who spray paint their whole self brown.
And bodybuilder.
Those people.
Yeah,
I don't even. My buddy did that. He never took steroids, and he placed in that shit. I know he never took steroids though. Yeah,
I don't know. Something like SARMs.
Some people, again, it can just be natural. Like some people may need to take stuff like that.
Well, why is that a point of pride to be natural?
It's mainly just because. It depends what you're going for. If you're just being swole to sit on a couch every day, if you're just taking steroids to work out and feel better about it because
steroids are unhealthy.
Yeah, but if you're doing if you are doing certain events and it does give you an edge, it gives you that boost.
But sleep gives you an edge.
Yeah,
broccoli gives you an edge.
But let's say you're not one of those people who does all that shit. You just take steroids. You don't pay attention to it,
then you're leaving those gains on the table, and either you don't care about those gains, or if you do want to max out, then
to me that's okay. We'll compare it to comedy. Then that's like reading a meme as opposed to working on your own joke. It takes twice as much to naturally build a joke than it does just to see a meme and take it as your own.
I guess, but what if you could take that meme and make it 10 times better through your own interpretation of it?
I guess it depends how much you diluted it, though, because I doubt you have to switch around so many words, and then. Memes are pretty short too, but it's like a shortcut is basically what I'm getting at.
Great. Shortcuts are awesome. We should take as many shortcuts as possible. Here's a shortcut, coal energy. Here's a shortcut, heating and air conditioning. Here's a shortcut, iPhones.
But it's a little bit more impressive than to know when you couldn't do it. I think the challenge, the whole thing of being mentally strong without extras,
okay,
without caffeine,
I believe that.
Like David Goggins style shit, do you think he's on anything? Or do you think
I'm sure he is, but...
No, I think he's just got a few short circuits. I think...
Well, but even then, what did he do? He conditioned his mind to be able to be
he just
super
beat the pain
conditioned
and he
in this
dulled his-
dimension. Yeah. But like, does that make it so that he can do other things? I don't know. Maybe it does. Like, I just think people are all have capacities, and we can use exogenous help to enhance any of those capacities, whether that's a cooling mattress on top of your bed so that you get better rest.
But if
like,
you
you're
do
getting
that-
exogenous help.
But when you do stuff like that, that's like taking an extra step of taking care. It's laying a foundation, even with the level of discipline. Like if you want to,
That is the key. It's mental toughness.
exactly. Well, it's not only that. Like when you work on something to get results, as opposed to just like people would get ab implants, which I thought was really stupid.
I mean, that
But
is
people,
stupid.
what's up?
That is stupid.
Oh,
Ab
I
implants?
thought you said you were gonna think about it, but like
No, that is, yeah.
it's stupid. It's dangerous. But you could pay for that and get it in a day. And you're gonna go on the assumption that like let's say you did get it and no one noticed and you didn't tell anyone. And for 10
that's a
years,
lie.
you went under the assumption that like, oh, they did that naturally. Like you should be
Okay,
disciplined
that's
like him.
true. That's true.
Almost it's like living a lie, which is what I'm saying is how you're promoting yourself, I guess, on what you're doing. Like I said, if you're just a person who wants to take steroids and
Yeah,
sit on a
if
couch,
you're getting an ab implant and passing yourself off as somebody who does the work of physical fitness, then that is a lie.
But then it's also if I ask you like, oh, where'd you get them from? And you tell me, I'll be like, oh shit, so you're fake.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just
well,
you got them and you told me that.
well, if somebody told me that, I'd be like, I'd probably think about the same as I think about a girl with fake tits. It's like, all right, whatever.
But you can tell fake titties for the most part. But at the same time,
I mean, it's
I
fine.
think with men and women, it's a little bit different though too, because women you do judge more objectively. Even with people in general, you judge more objectively, but women do get the more attention in that case for
That's
most,
true.
especially when it
Yeah,
comes to
like it is more visual.
yes, but I think
But if somebody's like just super honest and they were like, hey, I just really wanted abs and I didn't have the discipline to diet down.
if someone's outwardly like accepts like, yeah, no, dude, I just paid for these. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like
And that is
care.
kind of what the world is though nowadays for the most part. Is like if especially
Well, what? Yeah, like just everyone go do whatever you
and
want.
people accept the fakeness for what it like The Rock or Liver King or things like that.
But what is fake about The Rock? Like, go take steroids and try to be The Rock.
Here's the thing,
Impossible.
and he's
Cannot do it.
because he's not fake about it because no one, I'm pretty sure you never hear an interview where someone asks him about it. He'll talk about like he does work out though. You can't deny him of that. He does work out.
Whatever. That's the whole point. Is like you can't just take steroids and go and be The Rock.
Oh yeah.
You have to have lived his fucking life.
You've had to lay
every
a
second
foundation
of it.
Discipline. Yeah, of course.
But it's not even about the discipline. It's about like day after day, year after year, building his whole business.
Yeah, he didn't pay for it. I mean, he got money and he was able to invest in it.
If it was so easy to be The Rock, then just go take whatever you think he's taking.
yeah.
Right?
Develop it.
You're going to fall on your fucking face. You're never going to be The Rock. The only way to be The Rock is to live his fucking life.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know. But I mean, and
So what's the judgment of whatever he does that that enhances his
if
physique?
he were to say I don't do it, but that's what I'm saying is you got to look at any conversation he's had about it. He just talks about his routine, what he does, what he takes in, what he
I
eats.
guess there's
He
a
doesn't talk
stigma.
about extras behind it.
There's a stigma.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Unless he was like, oh, I strictly got this off being. He doesn't say I'm natural.
But he's obviously crazy disciplined.
He is, yeah.
Like he's in the gym every day.
what I'm saying.
I
People
follow
who
him on Instagram. He's in the gym every day.
people who
like
take-
I'll take Adderall. I'm not in the gym every day.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean with the people who take steroids and eat healthy and combine it like that too. I can still hold some level. Like, oh yeah, take steroids, man. You're built like you take care of yourself.
But you still have to go do the work.
And yeah, you still take care. You still work out. You still take care of yourself in that sense.
That's the point that I think is
Okay.
like you can take whatever enhancing chemicals or hormones or whatever you think helps you. But at the end of the day, if you're taking that stuff without actually working out, you're not going to get the benefit. The discipline still has to be there in showing up, lifting the weights, finding something heavy, lift it up and down.
Oh yeah, no, and I agree, and we can agree with on that. Yeah.
All right, so let's nobody be fat. Everyone get jacked. Let's fucking go.
You can take steroids if you want to. Just admit it.
All right, JT, let's wrap this one up. So where can we find you? What are you excited about? close us out.
I got ideas coming in the future. I don't know how more plans need to get laid down for those tracks to get set up. I'm optimistic for the Austin comedy scene.
Me too.
Stand Some Door Kingdom. I don't know that was canceled this week, but you can find me on all platforms at JT Stockman or JT_Stockman on Instagram. Shoot, no shows, no podcasts. Like I said, things are in the works.
All right, JT Stockman, meine Damen und Herren.